This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2.
Welcome to DBL. It is
Friday.
Thank you. And may I just say you look beautiful.
Oh, well, thank you.
Fire.
Thank you so
Am
much.
I right? Fire.
Thank you. These are my Bantu knots. Bantu is Zulu for people, or a Bantu. Yeah, I'm wearing them. I got them for an occasion, but today we're just going to have a little black girl magic.
Black girl magic!
Because, you know, we got to normalize black hair.
That's exactly right, everyone.
Yeah.
Look at me in the white preppy saying, black girl magic! That's my favorite thing in the world. I think you look fabulous. We have Brandon. Let's see what Brandon looks like. Looking good and sharp. How you feeling, buddy?
I feel great. Erica, I absolutely love your hair. And it's just a testament to the work you're doing with the Crown Act, and you're really walking the walk,
Amen.
Erica Cobb. So
Thank you,
you're
Brandon.
doing a great job.
I appreciate you.
Me and Patty will clap. That's all that's in the studio. And Rob. Thank you, Rob. I appreciate that. All right, let's get to the news. We've been waiting all week to hear from Joe Biden, and last night he accepted the Democratic nomination to be president in a race that he says is the battle for the soul of the nation. Take a look.
The current president has cloaked American darkness for much too long. Too much anger, too much fear, too much division. Here and now, I give you my word. If you entrust me with the presidency, I will draw on the best of us, not the worst. I'll be an ally of the light, not the darkness. It's time for us, for we the people, to come together.
I call it the Star Wars speech because it was light versus dark was the theme. The president responded to the speech, tweeting, "In 47 years, Joe did none of the things of which he now speaks. He will never change, just words." The vice president was on CBS this morning, and here's some of what he had to say about Biden's vision for America. Take a look.
I found not just those words by Joe Biden last night, but so many of the speeches at the Democratic National Convention were so negative. The first 3 years of this administration, where we rebuilt our military, we stood with our allies, stood up to our enemies. Honestly, other than the grim picture of America painted through most of the week at the Democratic National Convention, you didn't hear much detail.
That is what some people felt in terms of policy. Erica, do you have a quick reaction to the speech? And then I want to get into some major moments that people are talking about.
I loved the message of unity. I think we're all really, most of us are very sick of the divisiveness, the idea that we're all one team. A lot of this, the past few years have been very much penning teams against each other as if we're supposed to be divided. And this isn't a sports program. It's not a sports championship here. If we lose as a country, we all feel the effects of that. If we win as a country, we all feel the effects of that. And I think it's time that we really unify and come to a consensus of what the greater good is.
I agree completely. One thing that really got me and a lot of other people, Brandon, was Braden Harrington. Braden Harrington is a boy that was at a rally or you know, a campaign stop with Joe Biden. Joe went up to him, realized he's a stutterer, and said, "We're in the same club." And Braden did a very brave thing by speaking at the DNC. Let's take a look.
Hi, my name is Braden Harrington, and I'm 13 years old. And without Joe Biden, I wouldn't be talking to you today. He told me that we were members of the same club. We stutter.
So if you didn't know, this is a picture I wanted. He took him backstage afterwards and said, "This is how I got over my stutter." He read Yeats to himself in the mirror over and over and over again with a flashlight. So he showed him the book and then taught him how to write a speech with pauses that help him do that. And he took all this time out to do that with him. Brandon, for me, what a brave boy. What a brave moment.
He's like an American hero right now to me, Tori, because growing up, my sister Kristen she grew up with a stutter. And socially, she was affected through that. So to see Joe Biden take this kid and to really take him under his wing and teach him, hey, how to get over that. And then you see him on a national stage like that, have the courage to step up and to speak and to read in front of all these people. And I know it was only virtual, but just all these Americans out there and not have the fear, then that kid right there is a true American hero to me.
I agree, and it shows just great empathy. Now, we do have some comments from the other side, and again, here at DBL, we want to make sure we're getting everybody's point of view. So Ann Colville from Instagram says he had 8 years, Joe Biden, to do that, and he failed miserably. It's all bull. Seventh Day said you had over 40 years in government. What did you do? And Rujastru says, no thanks, I got Donald, but thanks for the offer. So a lot of people saying, look, he had time in government. What did he do? I could respond with Violence Against the Women's Act, the assault ban weapon bill, crossing over the aisles to be friends with Republicans, and decency and empathy. But that's coming from me. I want to hear more from you. Keep writing in. We're going to move over because we got big news with Lori Loughlin, Aunt Becky, guys. It's been over a year since we've been waiting to hear what will happen to Lori and her husband, Massimo Giannulli. The judge sentenced Massimo this morning to 5 months in federal prison, along with a $250,000 fine and 250 hours of community service. Now, as of the taping right now of our show, Lori has not yet been sentenced. That will happen later today. The duo admitted this past May to paying $500,000 in bribes in order to get their 2 daughters admitted to USC as athletic recruits. Erica, what's your take on this?
Oof, $750,000 and 5 months in prison so far is a lot to pay for a university that your daughters will never graduate from. I don't know if that was worth it.
I wonder.
You know, and that's the thing. It's like, I think we're seeing in very real time what cutting corners and the consequences thereof. Like, this is a new day. Transparency is everything. And now we're seeing people who have been cutting corners and benefiting from society's need for money and the dollar being the most important thing in the world, really come crashing down. And this is just the latest in all of that.
And they've never apologized, too, which really, for some reason, irritates me. Brandon, will they see jail time in your mind?
I don't think so. You know, Erica, when you say they're going to see consequences, I don't think that they're going to spend a day in jail. And I've said that from the beginning, and I'll continue to say that now. Yes, he got his 5 months. She may get 2. That's what people are allegedly saying right now. But because of COVID, it's a non-violent offense. Michael Cohen is not walking free, but Michael Cohen is serving his time at home. I see her lawyers making some sort of plea for, yes, she will accept this time, or they will accept this time, but can we defer it to them serving their time at home? And don't be surprised if that happens, I feel like.
Interesting. Let us know what you guys think. Will there be jail time? Will Aunt Becky be in the full house?
Good one, Tori.
Thanks, Brandon. Thanks, buddy. Just got a shake of the head from Erica. In the past 5 months, a lot has changed due to the pandemic. But what will the holidays look like? Okay, let's get some good news out here. The Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade will still happen, although New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio says it's going to be scaled back, of course, to avoid the huge crowds. The tree lighting at Rockefeller Center will also go on, but again, without the massive crowds. I got to ask Brandon and Erica here, what about Halloween? Are we done? Is it out? 2020, no? I had a costume.
I thought that Halloween, that kids would still be able to go trick-or-treating, but there would have to be some kind of systems in place. But I never even thought about the fact that if you're opening your door, knowing that every person is going to have a mask on, and not just a normal, like more masked up than usual, that scares me. It concerns me.
It also scares me that they're coming from all over, putting their hands in the same bucket, getting it, and then spreading out. I mean, it could not be worse for a pandemic. Brandon, are you going to be trick-or-treating?
At 35 years old, no, Tori, I will not be trick-or-treating. But I think it's just a state-to-state thing, you know, because look, if the Dallas Cowboys are going to have home games and have fans at games, 40,000 people, because you can only have half attendance in the state of Texas, people are putting their kids in rec leagues, rec soccer leagues, rec football leagues. I don't see why people won't have their kids go trick-or-treating. So I think it's a personal thing on how you feel, but I think it's a state-to-state thing as well.
State-to-state. All right. Let us know if you're going in what costume, or if you're staying at home, what drinks you're making. Brandon, don't go away. Coming up on DBL, actress Taryn Manning is starring in a new movie called Karen. So what do you think? Has this Karen craze gone too far? And check out our studio. Most of the DBL team is still working from home. We can't thank them enough. We'll be right back. Welcome back to DBL. Okay, let's talk real. We've all seen those viral Karen videos of white middle-aged women refusing to wear masks and, of course, calling for the manager. We've heard that from some of you. You don't like the term Karen. Well, it looks like Karen is coming to the big screen. Taryn Manning from Orange is the New Black. She's an excellent actress. She is set to star in a Karen movie about a racist, entitled white woman who terrorizes her black neighbors. The movie is set to be released next year. I was just saying to everyone here, we have a Karen on our morning call, the producer, and she says it's really hard to be called a Karen when you're not a racist, right? But I imagine for people of color, it was really hard to be called on for doing nothing. So there's this back and forth. Is Karen wrong? Are we wrong to call people Karens?
I think there's some duality of thought here. I mean, obviously, my name isn't Karen, so I'm going to think of this differently. But I think that that's kind of like leading. I do feel like we need to show some empathy, but I think we're kind of missing the point that this is such practiced behavior that it's become institutionalized in our society. And like anything that's been institutionalized, it tends to take on a term, and that term has become Karen.
I was going to say we branded it. That's all it is. It became what we see with this certain type of personality. Brandon, do you feel bad saying someone's a Karen, or are you like, yo, this is what happens, and now we have a label because it's so prevalent? What is she doing?
Well, I mean, I think it's just a trend. You know, we love hip terms. We love being cool. We love being able to label people in our society. But I look at it like this. I hate the thought of this movie because as someone who grew up as the only black family in a lot of neighborhoods because of my father's job, I'm not calling none of them Karens. I know people by name. I know these neighbors by name that not so much terrorized us, but always had something slick to say, or if something was missing in the yard or something, they would always come over to our house first and ask us, hey, have you seen this? So this movie, I get it. It may be bringing awareness, but to me, I think it's making a mockery of the overall problem.
Interesting personal point of view, Brandon. I really appreciate that point of view. Stick around, buddy. Coming up on DBL, the full circle moment for a cop who was shot by a fugitive decades ago. Don't miss his redemption story in True Crime Chronicles.
It's only a matter of
Nearly 50 years after shooting a police officer. All these years later, it's a story of redemption because he was finally caught by the same cop who he shot. Here's the update in DBL's True Crime Chronicles.
It was 1971. Daryl Cinquanta was working as a Denver police officer when he was shot in the stomach by Lawrence Pusateri, an escaped convict from California. Lawrence was caught and convicted for the shooting, only for him to escape again. He led police on a nearly 50-year chase until a phone call this summer changed everything.
This person says, I thought about it, and I'm going to tell you where the guy is that shot you.
Daryl, now retired from the Denver Police Department, started his own private investigation firm years ago and never gave up finding the convict who shot him.
And of course, I was skeptical. I mean, 46 years later, and out of the clear blue, I get a phone call. Well, this person gives me his address, his alias.
With that information, Daryl tracks down a man named Ramon Montoya. He was tied to a drunk driving case and this mugshot. The pieces aligned. That man was Lawrence Pusateri. Lawrence has been living under an alias in Espanola, New Mexico for the past 40 years. Daryl tipped off local police and FBI to the fugitive's home.
They surrounded it with a SWAT unit, and they went in and got him.
46 years later, a story of redemption and a full circle moment for Daryl.
I'm reveling in the fact that I got him, and they're going to extradite him back, and I'm going to try to see him.
Wow. Earlier, Jeff and Sam spoke with a reporter who actually interviewed the retired officer. Take a look. We are joined by investigative reporter Jeremy Hola from 9 News right here in Denver, Colorado. Jeremy, thank you so much for joining us. Now, you recently spoke with Daryl, the retired detective. He mentioned he wants to sit down and talk to Lawrence. What does he want to tell him all these years later?
Yeah, I know. What do you say to a person who shot you so many decades ago and then you catch them? I asked Daryl that very question. Daryl told me that he would initially commend him for staying under the radar for so long. But then I think he also doesn't really know what he would say to this guy. I think he'd probably come up with that the day they would meet, if they would ever meet.
Jeremy, do we know who the mystery caller was that tipped Daryl off? And was Lawrence's family ever aware he was living under an alias?
So I understand that Daryl, for decades, has been making calls to this man's family for years and to friends. It's unknown who that caller is. Maybe that caller got fed up with Lawrence. Maybe that caller was angry at him and just decided to come out of the blue, as Daryl said in that report, that he was going to turn over his name. As far as his family is concerned, I understand he was living with a wife who was completely oblivious to his past. So this came as a shock to her, from what I understand.
Unbelievable. It's like a horrific, creepy movie. And Jeremy, you previously worked as an investigative reporter in New Mexico. So can you tell us more about where Lawrence was found and how he evaded capture for so long?
So in this part of New Mexico, it's outside of the Santa Fe area. Everybody knows where Santa Fe, New Mexico is. It's kind of in the heart of the state. Outside of Santa Fe, the city of Espanola has been there for a very, very, very long time, since the late 1500s. It's a very old city. It's not a major metropolitan area. The population is about 10,000 people. So you're able to fly under the radar in an area like this, and people generally, you know, keep to themselves in this part of the state. So back then, when this man evaded law enforcement, he was able to fly under the radar and likely create a whole new identity because, you know, the internet really didn't exist back then in its current form. You could create paper documents. Nothing was digitized, so it was much easier to create a false identity, and that's what this guy did for decades.
Unbelievable. Yeah. And Jeremy, thank you so much for your investigative work. To learn more about this case, DBL Nation, you can visit 9news.com. We'll be right back. Thank you, Jeremy. Great seeing you.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
Introducing
Welcome back to DBL. When it comes to traveling during the pandemic, should anyone be doing it just for fun? Well, we're chatting about it in today's DBL Drive, sponsored by who, y'all?
Car Shield.
Yeah. Once different cities started entering new phases of reopening, we saw an uptick in people starting to travel for pleasure. If you choose to do that, here's how to do it safely. Don't fly, road trips only. You're going to limit your exposure to others. No indoor dining. Make sure you opt to eat outside or get the food to go. Wherever you're sleeping, ask what their cleaning protocol is and opt for no housekeeping because it limits the amount of activity actually in your room. And if you can, please tip the service. Workers helping you during these hard times are essential workers and they're not getting paid to be, as in my opinion. When it comes to traveling for peace of mind, get an auto protection plan with Car Shield. Car Shield protects their members from the high cost of auto repairs. Call 1-800-505-9619 for a free quote. Would you go for fun somewhere? Brandon, both of you?
You know, I would. I'm not going to say never, but
I'm not doing it now.
Yeah, I sleep in cars. So if somebody else is driving, I guess that's what's going to have to happen.
Brandon, would you take it go for fun right now? I know you always used to go to like Europe even and just travel for weekends, but what about now?
Yeah, I would, but I would take heed to what the Car Shield people just said. You know, you have to be safe.
Awesome. DBL's new every day. Let us know what your road trip plans are. We'll see you same time, same place on Monday.